I will skip that note to myself. Yeah, Supervisor Vasquez, I was just talking with Melissa. I think this is our 20th meeting now, so we've been at it.
Oh, wow. And I'm sitting here like, this is like my 4th meeting or 5th meeting. I sure appreciate the work that you guys have really put into, and doing some of the other land use hearings and having to review the area plans. I have a greater appreciation for the work that went into those plans to develop them, having gone through this with you. So thank you. It's been a good experience for me.
Yeah. Mm. Well,
with a candle.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is 5 o'clock. We are still a person or two short for a quorum. So we're going to use Flagstaff time tonight and give them a couple extra minutes to join us so that we can have a quorum and officially get our meeting started. So I appreciate if you would indulge us just a couple extra minutes here.
yeah, I saw that was a awful. I used to have a certain kind of solution. Is there almost a minute down? Yeah, she brought some of them down.
Judy,
Yes.
Judy, mute yourself.
Hello?
You can hear your conversation. Judy. Okay, I think she muted herself.
Melissa, I'm counting 5 right now. Is that correct?
That's what I have.
We need 7, right?
Right.
Okay.
How you doing, Rob?
Pretty well yourselves?
Doing well. Kurt Buchwald here.
Right. Glad you got the link. Thanks for tuning in here tonight.
Hey, I appreciate you sending it to me. I pulled it up on my phone and then all of a sudden I lost it. So thank you. I got to say, it's sort of nice to have people that actually put their faces on a Zoom call. I can't tell you how many Zoom calls I've had where everyone's just a black screen. Don't be shy.
Probably because they're still in their pajamas or their robe. Right?
Yeah. Correct.
Not yet.
If I was in my PJs, I'd turn the camera on to brag about it.
Actually, sometimes it's a bandwidth problem, and the video takes a lot of bandwidth.
Yeah.
I'm still heading home from work, so when I get to my house, I'll turn on my video.
We're
But I'm
seeing,
listening.
we're seeing you anyway, Laura.
I just turned it on to say hi,
Hopefully it'll
but I'll
stop.
be back on in a couple minutes. But I'm listening.
This is Bernice. I have to get off at 6:30, but I will get on my phone and dial in. My husband has another meeting on Zoom, so I didn't want to hurt him too bad and make him give in to me. But anyway, I'll be back on after 6:30 on my phone.
Excellent. Thank you, Bernice.
Bernice, what's that phone number? Or you can text it to me if you need to. Or message it to me.
I'll chat it to you.
Thanks.
Melissa, are there committee members that had said they were going to be here this evening that we don't see yet?
Yes. Well, I did not hear from everybody, but there are 3 people out and 3 people who have yet to join that I was expecting to join.
Okay. Hope at least 2 of them can make it yet. I appreciate everyone's patience. There is one person on right now whose phone number is displaying as last 4 are 8213. Could you unmute and tell us who that might be? If your phone number ends in 8213 and you could unmute and let us know who you are, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Hi, I just joined, but my phone number ends in 6095.
Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
And if 8213 would rather remain anonymous, that's okay too. I was just hoping it was one of the committee members.
Rob, can you hear me?
I can.
Cheryl, I think Cheryl knows who it is. I believe it is a lady. They asked her to mute because of the conversation in the background earlier. I think Cheryl's trying to get on, but maybe having trouble with her volume.
Okay.
I think I finally got on. That's Supervisor Judy Begay that's connected by phone on the 8213.
Thank you, Cheryl. I was just hoping maybe we had one more committee member. We're needing 2 to get going here, so I'm grasping here.
Okay. Yeah, I was the one that asked her to mute because I could hear them conversating in the background, and so.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome, Rob.
You know, at least one of our committee members is out of the country right now, but was going to try to join us anyway. Maybe the time zones got her.
Yeah, we're the ones that don't change.
Isn't that nice?
I love that.
Mhm.
The only thing that makes it difficult though is when you go up on the reservation and all of a sudden it changes. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the reservation because it'll play tricks on you.
I used to work in radio up here, and we'd go up to do live remotes up in Tuba City. And there was one time we were doing one and I was an hour late to it because of the difference in the time change.
I know it. I have to have 2 different times on my wall because if I don't, my phone doesn't know which is which sometimes. So it drives me crazy.
I hear you there.
Well, if any of you guys are assistants or executive assistants or out there, happy Administrative Assistance Day to them.
And to you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
I can see by Geronimo's smile that he knows without the assistance, you're really struggling, I bet. We still have people joining, so I'm going to have to ask you to indulge us just a couple more minutes here and see if we can't get a quorum, because I very much appreciate all your folks' time this evening. I'm glad to see so many people here, and I'm going to be really disappointed if we can't achieve a quorum. I'm guessing the reason we don't see Melissa right now is because she's busily dialing some phone numbers to work on that. So.
Rob, have we replaced the people that have resigned from the committee? Or have they been replaced?
Yeah, that's the responsibility of the actual supervisors, not ours as the committee. And I believe there have been one or two people that might have been, but I don't believe all of them have, no.
Yeah, I know of two that were on it in the beginning, and both of them have dropped off, and they're both from the Doney Park area. One is from the Turkey Hills area, and the other one was out by Slayton.
Gotcha. Well, I will tell you that if we hit 5:15 and haven't got a quorum, I'm going to have to apologize profusely and not take any more of your all's time this evening. I'm hoping Melissa's having some luck on the phone here.
Have we heard from Liz?
I've just contacted several people, so I wasn't able to reach anyone live. So I've left some messages, and Rob, you might be able to go through your presentation. We just can't get into the goals and policies update.
I would be happy to do that. I would hate to have asked all these people to join us this evening
Right.
and not be able to share something with them. So I guess then what we will do is we will do agenda items 1 and 2. And then if we have a quorum at that point, then we can go ahead and move forward with the discussions of the visions, policies, and goals, or goals and policies at that point. Does that work for you, Melissa?
I think that will be fine.
Okay, then we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you, everyone. First, for your patience this evening, and second, for your spending some time with us here this evening. Being a citizen in this great country of ours requires some input back from you. Being a citizen requires you being active in the processes, and this is a great one to be part of because it affects all of us here immediately in the Doney Park area. And especially in the windswept plains of Doney today, it's even more impressive that everyone is able to be here because, boy, the winds today have been good. This is the 20th meeting tonight of the Doney Park Timberline Fernwood Area Plan Committee. We have been meeting since January of last year. And as has been the case since we've started, we welcome those members of the public that aren't necessarily part of our committee and want to either just watch or especially share their thoughts and opinions with us because we value that public opinion. In fact, at our very first meeting, we decided that we needed to have public comment both before and after each meeting because we want to make sure we give everyone an opportunity to share their thoughts. One quick reminder here for folks that are maybe new to Zoom, if you're not actually communicating with us at the time, it's a good idea to mute your microphone in the top right corner of your screen of your photo. There's an icon that you can click on to mute yourself. That'll avoid us having to hear anything that might be going on in the background at your place and make it a lot easier for everyone to be able to hear the people that are actually speaking. That said, I'd like to start by introducing Melissa Shaw. She's a senior planner for the County Community Development Department. Melissa, would you like to introduce yourself briefly there? Or am I catching you off guard?
I'm sorry, I was multitasking, Rob.
No problem.
Okay, so you asked me to go through and do a roll call?
Well, just a quick introduction of yourself,
Oh.
and then we can do a roll call of the committee members. Yes, please.
Can we do this first, though? Bringing the pizza?
Oh, yes.
Pizza's delivered, okay.
Because it's dinner time and we appreciate all you being here, we thought it was important to share some pizza. So.
Okay, right. Just needed to get that over with, right?
All right, thank you.
Okay. And there are just some meeting instructions about virtual meeting tips. And There's the agenda. So I'm Melissa Shaw. I am with the Community Development Department. I'm the long range planner for the county.
Excellent. And then Melissa, if you could do a quick roll call of committee members so that we can find out for sure who is and who isn't out here right now.
Absolutely.
As you're introduced committee members, if you could just let us know your name, maybe how long you've been here and what district you're representing.
Okay, Dave Browning.
Yes, I've lived here for about 15 years in Doney Park, and I'm on this one and a couple of other committees and like that. So, but I'm very interested in this one, where I live.
Okay, Bernice Carver.
Hi, I'm Bernice Carver. I've lived in Doney Park over 44 years. I've worked for W.L. Gore. I've worked many years for the school district and many years for the health department. I've been a Girl Scout leader and 4-H and softball and baseball for kids. And I've sold real estate, so I've known the area. I didn't do that for very long, but I know the area very well. And I know a lot of people out here, and I'm on this committee because I want to preserve and maintain our rural lifestyle and keep the character of Doney Park. I want to keep it country. Thanks.
Thanks, Bernice.
Thanks, Bernice. John Ruggles.
All right, John Ruggles here. Been in Arizona a little over 50 years, here in Flagstaff for almost 15 now. Planning and Zoning Commissioner representing District 2. And I've done that for the last 9.5 years. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Evelyn Wani.
I'm here. I just got to get all my things turned up and down and whatever. Okay, so this is Evelyn Wani. I am in Timberline. I'm a committee member, been in Flagstaff for 45, 50 years. I don't know. Anyway, that's it.
Thanks, Evelyn. Rob Wilson.
Hi, I'm Rob Wilson. I live here in Timberline, have for the last 12 years, flagged for 21 now. I also own Timberline Firearms.
Thanks, Rob.
And I co-chair the committee along with Brian Bates, who isn't able to be here with us this evening.
Thanks, Rob. And I see Harriet Young has joined us.
Yes.
Hi, Harriet. Do you want to just give a quick introduction?
Harriet Young, committee member, Girls Ranch Road area, the far north. Thank you.
Excellent. So I think that's the total of the committee members. We're looking for one more to join, and I'm betting that's going to happen before we get to that point. So some of the other players that we have with us here this evening, Jess McNeely is also with the County Community Development Program or Department. Jess?
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for that, Co-Chair. Jess McNeely, Assistant Director of the Community Development Department and the Planning Manager, just here to help Melissa, and certainly appreciate all the work that Melissa is doing with managing this area plan update process. Thanks.
Excellent. And we have county supervisors from districts 2 and 4. So Supervisor Vasquez, perhaps, could you introduce yourself? He was here. Where is he? Is he still here? Or have we lost him? It looks like we may have lost Supervisor Vasquez. Is Supervisor Begay still on? There she is.
Yes, I am. Thank you. I'm the Coconino County Board Supervisor for District 4, and I love to hear the plans and been listening in on your planning. And so I believe it's a good plan. And so I just wanted to be in this meeting again, and I want to be I'm interested in all the area plans because that's what makes up our community. So just want to introduce myself, and I'm glad to be online.
Thank you, Supervisor Begay. I appreciate that. We have a lot of public folks here this evening that aren't normally part of our committee. Rather than, since we've already taken 15 minutes of your time waiting, Rather than going around and hitting everyone, what we would like you to do is if you have some public comment, please feel free at that point to introduce yourself so we better understand who we're talking with. And we will move on here with the next item on the agenda. Melissa, do we have any updates that we need to share on the agenda tonight?
I don't have any. I know a few other people, iPhones have joined. Are there any other committee members that have joined that have not introduced themselves? That's it, Rob.
Hearing none. We're going to move on to the public comment period. Like I indicated earlier, all of us on the committee care significantly about what our neighbors think about this process. All of us on the committee live here in the planning area, but we recognize there's a wide diversity of thought, opinion, and people here. So we want to hear your thoughts and concerns, and we're really pleased to see so many of you here this evening pitching in and sharing those thoughts with us. So one thing that we would like to remind everyone is that the public meetings are like they are at the county supervisors or the Planning and Zoning Commission. We do have to limit the amount of time to 3 minutes so that we can get through everyone and give everyone a fair amount of time to address the committee. There will be a timer on the screen to help you stay on time with that. So we appreciate the best efforts to do that. Let's see. While we're actually conducting the meeting, providing we get a quorum, we can't have public comments during that period of time because of the amount of time that would add to the whole process. So it's important that you share as much as you can with us before and after. And if for some reason that you can't share that information on screen or while we're here online, please feel free to email that mshaw@coconino.az.gov is the best way to get information to the entire committee. With that said, is there anyone here that would like to share a public comment? And the first hand I saw was Judy Saul. So Ms.
That's
Saul,
me.
you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Rob. And this is my first time at one of these committee meetings, so I'm going to make it as quick as possible. I just wanted to check in because, and I'm going to read something that I wrote the other day so that'll explain my position. We moved here almost 18 years ago. And I remember being asked when we first moved here by someone who was an old time resident, if we were going to be changing everything. He wasn't thrilled with people coming over from California, which is where we came from. And our answer then and now is a resounding no. When we first started looking for a place to retire to, we came through in 2001. And of all the communities we visited, Flagstaff warranted the second visit. And we fell in love with the charm of the community. But what we realized after our second visit was we really wanted to be a little further out. We had come from just north of Los Angeles in a heavily dense populated area. So we came out here on 2.5 acres and have just been totally in love with it ever since. So when I started reviewing some of the information I was getting from this plan, I had some real concerns because it sounds like we are going to be putting in high density housing for affordable housing or smaller dwellings on smaller lots. And I'm also very concerned with what this is going to do to traffic congestion since we only have Highway 89 in and out to get here. And so I wanted to mention those two things. I don't want to see us become just another suburb. You know, this, as far as I'm concerned, we're an unincorporated area of the county. We are much more relaxed and rural out here, and I would really hate to see us get much more densely populated. So that's my concern, is that we try and keep those things in mind while developing a plan that will be beneficial for the current residents as well as any future ones that come in. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. We're going to address a couple of those issues you brought up in the next agenda item, so please stay tuned. Is there anyone else here that would like to make a public comment?
Hi, I'm Sheila Walsh. I've been a property owner in Doney Park for 37 years. I'm holding up the 1988 Doney Park area plan. In this plan, there are 2 rural activity centers defined in there, but I noticed on the self-guided tour that I just did and recorded to, for this area plan committee, there are now 7. And I wanted to know who identifies rural activity centers. Is that a planning and zoning activity?
One other note that I have to add to the public comment period here, just like with the, in order to be in compliance with the Arizona open meeting laws, we're not really allowed to respond directly to questions during public comment because they haven't been included on the agenda. But again, stay tuned. I think there's some good information coming here on the next agenda item for you.
Awesome.
Anything else, Sheila?
That was my only question, but thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Looking for other public comment. Mr. Leroy.
Hello.
Oh.
Hi, my name's
I'll
Diane
defer to the
Jacks.
gal.
Hi, thank you, William. My
You're
husband
welcome.
Bruce and I have been residents of Doney Park since '81. And there was a couple of things that came up. I had a couple of questions. One, I saw, Rob, you mentioned on Nextdoor that there is a current survey. We did complete the one that was sent last year. We did do that one online. Is there an actual survey out there for public comment at this time?
Yes, there is. We're going to provide some more detail in the next agenda item. And
okay.
Trust me, everyone, I didn't ask everyone to ask these questions.
Oh, no, I had seen, no, perfect. And then as far as access to a draft to how you've gotten to where you are today, is there, I've been on the website, but I'm having trouble maneuvering and pulling things out. So is there a place I can go to and review what you made changes to already, or is that not available yet?
And this is going to sound like a recording, but stay tuned.
Okay.
We're going to address that next.
And my final thing is, I did listen to
They're talking
April
about high density
8th.
housing in here. Come over and listen.
I'm sorry, Diane, could you repeat the last comment, please?
Yes, on the April 8th, there was a couple issues brought up, one about noise and another about obnoxious smells. And that, I had some real concerns about that. I know you were just discussing it, but will we have public input on that? Because that one's going to be, I think, a can of worms for neighbors against neighbors if it affects us. I mean, what's obnoxious to me may not be obnoxious to my neighbor. For example, animals or diesel smells or, you know, car sounds. And I have real concerns that that's going to become a real hot button for neighborhoods if somebody isn't happy with a neighbor, that, oh, you're barbecuing and I'm a vegetarian, so that annoys me. Or you've got a cow in your yard and it stinks and that annoys me. That one, I just felt like it really needed to have some input from the neighbors. I didn't know if that would be an option for anything, you know, put down.
Yeah. There is going to be plenty of opportunity for continuing public comment on all of the area plan. And stay tuned.
You're allowed to say, when you
Thank
say
you, Diane.
stay tuned, Rob,
I'm
does that
sorry?
mean stay tuned for today?
Yes, sir.
Or is it?
The next
Okay.
agenda item.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
And Bruce, right now you're not muted, and sometimes that's we're hearing your background noise. So if you're not
Okay.
speaking, you can mute. That would be helpful. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your help.
I think Mr. Leroy, you are next.
Yeah, let me unmute. Am I unmuted?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Real quickly. So I have a copy of the draft y'all are going to go through tonight. I went through the entirety of the document. I have added my own red line version of each of the sections. I'm going to submit that to Melissa Shaw. Hopefully, Melissa, if you could please disseminate that to the committee members. And then hopefully, I realize you can't answer now, but hopefully what I would hope would happen is that I could get some kind of a substantive response to each of my red line comments that either add new language or delete some of the existing language to the existing draft plan y'all are going to go through tonight. That would help me refocus my efforts so that I cannot continue to be a bull in a china shop, but rather be more of an assistance to your efforts. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Leroy. I would suggest, first, I would thank you for the effort that you put into redlining the document, and would suggest that if possible, that you could get that to us prior to the meeting that we're going to discuss that particular chapter. Then your comments could be incorporated into the meeting and perhaps also adopted into the area plan. So thank you.
You know, I would have done that, Rob, but and forgive me that I did not. Sincerely, I apologize. I just thought that might be rude. So if that would have been a better way, then please accept my apology.
Public comment is always welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We're looking for other folks that would like to share with us this evening. Looks like Karen has her hand up there. Please.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm Karen Burdorf in Doney Park, and I just had a couple of things to say. One is, I think we all moved out in these areas because we wanted the space and we wanted to be like suburbia, number one. And the other thing, which hopefully you'll cover later, I don't expect an answer now, is how these proposed plans, the docs, can be obtained. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am, you are correct, and thank you. We appreciate that. Looking for other folks that have public comment. Everyone has a free shot here. We welcome everyone.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Mr. Meyer.
Yeah, Meyer, Doug Meyer, Doney Park since 2008 and Flagstaff since 1991. I'd just like to quickly read question 21 from the survey. And that question said, do you agree that the area plan should encourage additional types of residential housing development, including higher density residential, in order to support neighborhood scale economic development, transit, and affordable housing options in DPTF? And the answer that you received was 86% no. So I realize I can't ask a question now, but from what I can tell, the early draft of the document is allowing increased residential density up to 20%. So I think there's a conflict between what the community stated and what appears to be the early versions of the plan. So I'll be waiting to see what you guys can do to rectify that. Thanks, that's it.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that input. And if you could, either email Melissa or via chat, tell us specifically where in the existing draft you think that that's supported, so that we know where you're talking about, that would be helpful, because we'd like to look at that more closely.
Okay, I hope it's in residential land use, residential uses.
Yeah, if you can just do that via chat or email, that would be great. That way we can all get a good look at that.
Very good.
Hey, Rob.
Rob, I apologize for jumping in here. There's somebody that is listed as iPhone, has a beard with a little bit of gray in it and some glasses, and your audio keeps jumping in and sort of cutting things out. So if you could mute, that would be wonderful.
All righty, thank you, Kurt.
Rob?
Yes.
Hey, Rob, can I ask you a question?
Nancy, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hey, Rob. So, do you guys know what ICLEI is? ICLEI.
I personally am not familiar with that term. Is it related to?
They're ICLEI cities, okay? And they are smart cities that are being built around the country, and Flagstaff is one of them. And I think this is where that's coming from. They have an agenda to build these type of cities, and Flagstaff is an ICLEI city. ICLEI.
Okay, that's something that we can research a little further. It has not,
Okay.
as well, I'm not allowed to respond to questions here, so. I appreciate your
Yeah.
input, and it is something that we can look further into.
Okay, Rob, that'd be a good idea.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Rob, Karen Burdorf again. I forgot to mention that I've actually been in Doney Park for a little over 20 years now. So I'm glad I heard about this so I can listen to see what they're trying to do. Thank you.
We're glad to. All right. Any other members of the public that would like to share a thought with us this evening?
Hi, this is Rose Tohi, and I'm just here to listen. I was invited to see if I'm living in, my family and I are living in Doney Park right now and have been here for probably close to 20 years. And then from 1977 on, between 20 years, and then we were inside city limits. So just wanted to let you know, but we're here. Thanks.
Thank you, Rose. I appreciate that. Any members of the public here that would still like to share a thought? We're all ears.
Rob, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, it's Kathy Waldrop. I joined late, but I just wanted to say I had a really good time doing the driving tour.
Excellent. That's something that we encourage everyone to do.
I enjoyed seeing parts of the area that I hadn't been to before. When we first got up here, Ray, my husband, you know, drove all out Townsend, Winona, and Silver Saddle, and I must confess, I haven't been there and done that yet. So this driving tour helped me actually to get a better view of what the whole thing looks like. And yeah, we have a pretty nice area. Let's not mess it up, shall we?
Thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate that. We're going to be talking about the driving tour here in just a minute.
Oh, sorry, I jumped.
All right. We're looking for some more public comment. Anyone else that would like to share a thought, please unmute and go ahead and share.
Hi, Rob. Yeah, Rob. Bruce Jacks here again.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, Daniel, did you want to go? Yeah. Danielle, I'll wait for you to go. Go ahead and speak. I'll wait my turn.
Thanks for hosting. And if in the future, if we could have a meeting just a little bit later, so our working members can also join. 5 o'clock is just a little too early to get all the way back out here from town.
We recognize the challenges this presents. Sometimes these meetings run past 8 o'clock, so we're tough going on either end as far as that goes. But I understand completely, Danielle, and thank you for the input there. Ms. Waldrop, you may want to mute your phone because right now you're still not muted. Is there anyone else here? Bruce, I think you had another thought there.
Yeah, Rob, I just wanted to add that my wife Diane and I have been here for quite a few years. And we were involved with the zoning way back when, and around, I think it was 2000 or 2001 at that time. And it was when discussing about housing, taking acre lots and making them into quarter-acre lots. It was a area out here behind Cromer School. And things were a lot simpler then. We got together at the firehouse and then we talked things over and made a discussion and decision there. And we didn't have to go through as many meetings as y'all have had to endure. But I just want to let everybody know that back then, and agree with a lot of the folks that have spoken, we just like to keep Doney Park how it is. That's why we moved out here. We enjoy it that way. And we all are a little different out here, but I think we all get along just fine. And I just wanted to add that to it, Rob.
Thank you, Bruce. I think you'd find a lot of people here agree.
Good. Hope it stays that way.
All right. Anyone else from the public that would like to make a comment here, feel free to unmute. Looks like Laura has her hand up.
My name is Laura Plain. I live out here in Doney Park. I've been here for about 20 years, Flagstaff for over 30. And I've been very disheartened at the growth within Flagstaff, in particular, the high density housing. I know we're in a housing crisis and all that, and I get it. But Doney Park has been what's kept me in this area. And if, we were to open things up to have more, high density housing, smaller lots, I would probably consider leaving the area. So I just want to say, kind of echo what others have said. Keep it the way it is. I love the openness. I love the quiet. I love the dark skies. So I'm just kind of echoing on everyone else, but I love it the way it is, and I don't want it to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate your input. Anyone else that would like to unmute and share a thought with us here this evening? Amber.
Hello.
You have the floor.
I just dialed in. I don't need the floor.
Okay. Well, welcome, Amber. We're glad to have you here. Pam, would you like to share a thought?
No.
Okay. Then it appears that we have heard from everyone that would like to share a thought with us. And so we will conclude the public comment and move on to agenda item number 2, which is an update on our community operating principles. I don't know, Melissa, we don't have a slide for this one, do we? Not
Rob,
yet.
I don't think we can cover that without a quorum of our committee members.
Okay. So what about the update on the who, what, why, and all that stuff? Can we do that?
I think
part?
informational, we can go over informational materials.
Okay.
And let me just start this again.
We will jump to that.
And so there's your first slide that you wanted to just talk about as far as some background information.
Okay, yeah, we'll get there. We're not quite there yet, but almost. All right. So as we mentioned during the public comment period, there's a lot of you joining us for the first time. A lot of this is kind of new information, and yet you're kind of stepping in the middle of the process. So what we thought we'd do is back up and start over at the beginning, cover the kind of what, why, and who of this whole process so that everyone is on the same page and understand where we're at, what we're doing, and what's coming up in the future. So what we're doing is we are updating an area plan. The area plan is an official amendment to the Coconino County Comprehensive Plan. And the intent of the area plan is to reflect the local residents' vision of the future, and it contains goals, policies for development, and provides guidance for decision makers. There are 9 different area plans throughout the Coconino County. The last one that was updated just about a year and a half ago was Belmont, and these are, so they exist all over the county. We're not alone in the fact that we have an area plan. Why we're updating it right now is because the law says we're supposed to. Arizona Revised Statute 11, Tac 805, paragraph M says once every 10 years, your area plan is supposed to be updated. Obviously, we're a little delinquent here. It's been 20 years since our area plan has been updated. And so that's why we're working hard now to make sure that it reflects the current residents' opinions of what our area is and what we don't want it to be. The who part here is who are these people that are on this committee and how did they get there? So the Doney Park area plan covers 2 different districts in Coconino County, a part of District 2 and a part of District 4. And as a result of that, the supervisors from District 2 and 4, who at the time were Supervisor Archuleta and Supervisor Parks, each invited several community members to represent their districts on this area plan rewrite committee. The folks they selected, I believe, were the ones that they saw that were most active in the community, the ones that were attending the neighborhood watch meetings, the ones that were participating in community activities, the ones that had a good feel for the pulse of what was going on out here and would be able to make sure that the plan that we're working on reflects what the people that live here want it to be. An important thing to note is that all of the people on the committee live here in the area plan area. The result of the people that they selected was a very diverse group of people with a wide variety of political opinions, but it seems they have one thing in common, and that is they all want to see Doney Park remain Doney Park. They don't want to see it changed into something other than that. I consider myself fortunate to have been a part of this committee because I've made several new friends that I probably wouldn't have otherwise met as a result of this. So what have we done up until now? Well, I mentioned earlier, this is our 20th meeting. So we've had informal presentation or informational presentations, I'm sorry, from about February of last year through March of this year. And that slide that, there you go, Melissa. This shows just a partial list of the different organizations that have made presentations to this committee to make sure that we're as well informed as possible about how these different organizations interact or interface or border on or those kinds of things. And during those presentations, we as a committee were able to kind of compile lists of, well, let's make sure this or that or the other thing is addressed in our area plan when we get to the point of reviewing that. So those things were all held in a master list kind of a thing, waiting for us to begin that review of the 2001 or 2000 area plan. I don't remember, it's 20 years old. The other thing we did is we can, I'm sorry?
It's 2001.
2001, okay. I was half right. The other thing we did is we conducted a survey, and I think a couple of you mentioned that you had seen the survey. As I have mentioned a couple of times, public thought and comment is very important to us. And the survey was an attempt to gather more of that in as concise a way as possible. Recognizing the extremes that COVID has put everyone in over the last year, there were some challenges that we faced, and we knew that. But I can go over a quick list of what we did to try to make sure as many people as possible could complete the survey. So we sent a postcard to every address in the planning area, notifying people of that survey and how they could take it. It was an online survey primarily. The county supervisors, Supervisor Parks and Archuleta, both sent emails out to all of their lists in their newsletters, telling people about the fact that there's this survey out there and that it's important that you participate in it. The county issued a press release notifying everyone of it. Notices were sent to the Doney Park, Timberline, Fernwood area plan email list, a list that you should be on if you're here this evening. Again, emailing mshaw@coconino.az.gov will get your name added to that list, so you'll be up to date on everything. Paper copies of the survey were provided at Summit Fire, and there were flyers and postcards posted at places like the Silver Saddle store and some other places so that we could get some additional public visibility. We also attacked social media, of course, and there were posts made on the Doney Park Facebook page. There were posts made on the Nextdoor app. And the county also posted information about the survey on their Twitter and Instagram accounts. Partway through the survey, we heard some folks were having difficulty completing it within the 30-day time frame that we had allowed for inputs. So we extended that survey for a week because we wanted to make sure we got as many folks included as possible. We received 690 responses back to that survey, and that's out of a total of about 4,198 different households here in the Doney Park area. We would love to have seen 4,198 responses, but that's just not realistic, and we know that. But what we did is we went ahead and had the county staff, thankfully, compile all the results of those surveys. And then we reviewed those results as a committee. You too can review those results. They are posted online on the website. We'll be posting that link here shortly. So if you would like to see what your neighbors think about Doney Park and what we should or shouldn't be doing here, those survey results are available. Then we began the review of the current area plan, and we basically are working through it chapter by chapter, making the updates that, or ensuring that the things that are covered that we thought were necessary while we were going through those informational presentations. Tonight, providing we have a quorum, we will be working on chapter 8, which is the land use growth and development chapter, and that will leave just chapter 9, the transportation chapter, left to do at next month's meeting. We've also created the self-driving tour that I think Kathy mentioned and a couple other people may have had a chance to do. That too is available on the website. We strongly encourage you to go ahead and do that self-driving tour. It'll perhaps introduce you to parts of Doney Park, Timberline, Fernwood that you didn't know exist, and better know your neighborhood. And it also has a survey attached to it, so you can provide input about what you see while you're doing this tour, either live, real time, or later on once you get back and have a better internet connection. So moving forward, our plan is to finish the draft area plan. As I mentioned, next month we should finish up the last chapter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to host open houses, probably 2 of them. We're going to make the document available online. Everyone that would like to read it and comment on it will have an opportunity to do that at their leisure at home, but they can also attend open houses where we can have back and forth interface about what you like or don't like, or things you think need to be changed. We'll have at least 2 open houses. We're hoping that at least one of those by that point will be in person, but they could end up being virtual like we are tonight. After those are completed, we're going to go ahead and compile and review the input that we got from the public during those open houses. And the committee will meet again and then modify our plan to make sure it's consistent with what we heard at those open houses. Once we're satisfied that we have an area plan that represents what our community really wants, we're then going to forward that on to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The Planning and Zoning Commission will review the document and hold a public hearing where public comment will be available again to tell the Planning and Zoning Commission what they do or don't like about the area plan. Once the Planning and Zoning Commission is happy with it, they forward it on to the Board of Supervisors, where once again, there will be a hearing and there will be public input. So you can attend the meeting and tell your supervisors you like or don't like, anything in the plan. The point here is there's going to be quite a bit of opportunity for public input, not just now, but throughout this entire process. So that kind of brings us to what can you do? And I'm so happy to see all these little icons on my screen right now of all these interested people here. It's awesome to finally get to the point where there's so many folks that are aware of and are participating in this process. The number one thing is to stay engaged. What we want you to do is, like I said, email mshaw@coconino.az.gov, get your name added to our email list so that you'll receive regular updates as to what's going on, when, and where. We want you to check the website regularly. It's updated following every meeting and oftentimes in between with new information. There's recently been added a new graphic that shows the process that we're flowing through right now. So we'd like you to check that website often and find out what's going on and how you can stay abreast of the changes that are happening. Take that self-guided tour that we talked about, the link that is there on this slide also. It's on the county Facebook page, of course. And then complete that survey so that your feedback can be seen by the commission, or by the committee, excuse me. And then, of course, once we get to the point where we're having these open houses, we would love to see you there, either on Zoom here or in person, and hear your thoughts about the work that we've completed to that point, because we want to make sure that this area plan represents what you, our neighbors, believe Doney Park should be. That's really what this whole plan is all about. I kind of skipped over what is this plan used for, and that's kind of the most important part, so I saved it for the end. The Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Supervisors are oftentimes met with questions about, we would like to rezone X, or we would like to do something different that's not currently authorized by zoning or by area plans or whatever. This document is what they refer back to find out, is what's being proposed consistent with what the people that live there now want to see. If it's not, it gives them the tools they need to be able to say, I'm sorry, you're just not going to be able to build a Walmart on the corner of Copeland and 89, or whatever the process, the project might be. I shouldn't pick on a particular corporation. So that's why this document is so important, that all of you have your input to it, that it reflects what you value about our community, and that's why we're so happy to see you here this evening.
Rob, this is Melissa.
Go ahead.
Hey, if I could just add to what you were just mentioning in terms of how the document is used. So it's a goal and policy document that does reflect the vision of the area plan, and it's used by the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Supervisors for specific projects. And those are for conditional use permits, rezonings, and subdivision requests. So it's used as an amendment to our comprehensive plan. And when those projects come in for review, planning staff and then either the Planning Commission or Board of Supervisors will review the related policies in relation to the project and use those to make a decision. So just wanted to clarify that there are specific projects that this plan will be looked at in terms of making decisions by those bodies about those particular types of actions. Thanks.
Okay. A couple other things that you can do. Make sure you attend your neighborhood watch meetings. They hold them at the fire stations here every month. Lots of good information is presented there. I think John Patton, who's here tonight, is the one that sets those up for us, and I appreciate that. So being active in your community is a good way to make sure you're being a good neighbor and make sure you're aware of what might be going on or not going on, because we want to make sure we're operating from an informed position and not getting unnecessarily upset or concerned about things that may not actually be factual. Are there any of the committee members here this evening that would like to add anything to what I have just shared? The silence is deafening. Okay.
I'll add to that for you, Rob.
Okay.
As a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission who's been on it for a little while now, one thing I would like to say is that we're quite serious about what is in the area plan when it comes to anything that pertains to rezoning, conditional use permits, or subdivisions. They get a pretty thorough workout from us and staff as well. And the other thing that I'd like to say is that in terms of a policy document, which is what this is, that the wishes of the community are paramount in that document. And I've heard a lot this evening, of course, about high density housing, and stating the opposition to that in the area plan is simply not out of the question. It has to be there. It's a preference. It's something that probably most residents in Doney Park don't want to see, as is additional commercial development. And the other thing that I've heard from very clearly from folks who value dark skies, and I'm probably the biggest proponent of dark skies and some of the loopholes that people are trying to use to get past the ordinance on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I'm going to make sure, for one, that those loopholes are not a part of this area plan. I think that's enough for now. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Any other committee members have any thoughts they'd like to share at this point?
This is Bernice. One of the things that I have been wondering about is we have the last zoning ordinance for the zoning ordinance document that was finalized for the unincorporated areas of the county. Did that document take into account the 2001 area plan? And I'm curious about especially the ADUs. Were they, I mean, that was passed to put an extra house on every parcel now and actually rent it out. Was that part of the first area plan? And also the clustering. I'm worried about the clustering could open the door later on. And for those that don't know what clustering is, say you have 10 acres and 9 of the acres isn't usable. So you have a 10-acre parcel and you cluster maybe 10 units on an acre and leave the rest for open space, that 9 acres for open space. I worry about things like that being an open door later on for more density. So if I could get those questions answered, I would really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bernice. I appreciate that. And Jess or perhaps Melissa, could you address the question? I guess the first question was the 2001 plan used when they were modifying the existing zoning codes to make sure that it was respected in those changes? Is that the first question, Bernice? And Jess or Melissa, could you update us on that?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. This is Jess. So in short, the comprehensive plan and all of the area plans were consulted in all updates of the zoning ordinance. The allowance for ADUs for accessory dwelling units in the single family residential zoning districts has actually been around for some time. That in our most recent update to the zoning ordinance that was adopted in 2019, the accessory dwelling units were already permitted at that point. I believe they've probably been permitted, probably a good 5-8 years prior to that adoption. And then same with the clustering, the cluster conservation concept or integrated conservation design. That was a concept that was something that the county really pushed forward to protect environmentally sensitive features and environmentally sensitive land features. So that was a concept that was integrated into the 2015 updated comprehensive plan. I can tell you that all of the plans nest together. There's pretty good understanding between the planning and zoning commissioners, as a couple of our planning and zoning commissioners on your committee could acknowledge. A good understanding of the area plans and the comprehensive plan, even the regional plan that we work with, and the nesting of all those plans being consistent. Certainly, that has been considered. I'd be happy, myself or Melissa could probably talk to any of the committee members, any public members for that matter, on a phone call outside of your committee meeting time here, Rob, and answer some of those questions in more detail, and even pull up old documents if we needed to try to answer some of those detailed questions.
And Jess, this is Melissa. Sorry. Yeah,
No
just looking, the guest house and accessory living quarters have been allowed since 1992 in the county zoning ordinance.
Right.
But they weren't allowed as rentals, right?
That there was a change. You're correct, Ms. Carver, that there was a change at a certain point in time that prohibited ADUs from being rentals to where that was loosened up to where ADUs, accessory dwelling units, could be rentals. But the long and the short is certainly all of the plans, all of the nesting of all the plans for the county are taken into consideration when these ordinance updates are done.
Okay, but for the 2001 area plan, they didn't cover ADUs or clustering.
Yeah, and we could certainly spend a lot of time. I'd be happy to talk with you offline about that. I wasn't here. I was planning for Wichita, Kansas at the time, but I can tell you we can certainly help you research. But I would concur probably, Ms. Carver, that the 01 Doney Park, Timberline, Fernwood area plan didn't go into those details of encouraging the integrated conservation design concept, and didn't discuss ADUs. However, I can tell you, as any of the commissioners or board members could tell you, that all the plans are considered when ordinances are updated. So I hope that helps.
Hey, Jess, I think we're probably getting in a little too much detail here without having all the committee members here to hear that. So what I would like to do is, since it appears we still don't have a quorum and won't be able to move on with our conversations tonight about details, that we plan an agenda item in the next meeting specifically to address Bernice's questions. Will that work for you, Bernice?
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. That works, Jess?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. I'm looking for any other comments from any other committee members here this evening. All right. Melissa, confirm my math. We're still one short.
Yes.
Can't tell you how disappointed I am to hear that. And so I will have to apologize to all of you profusely. This is the first time in 20 meetings this has happened, and certainly couldn't have predicted it. We very much appreciate all of your time and participation this evening. I hope that some of the information you heard here this evening has helped you better understand what it is we're doing, where we're at in that process, where we're going, and most importantly, how you can be a part of it. But without a quorum, we really cannot move on beyond this point in the meeting agenda. So Melissa, unless you have anything else to add, I'm going to have to say thank you very much, everyone. And the good news is we can all go enjoy a beautiful sunset here in Doney Park.
Thank you, Rob. We can definitely reschedule the next meeting. I guess you can mention when the next meeting actually is scheduled.
That's May the...
Let me just go down to the bottom slide and you can display that. There you go, May 13th.
Yeah, May 13th at 5 p.m. It will be a Zoom meeting just like this. I would like to be able to say I will assure you we will have a quorum. Unfortunately, I don't have ultimate control over that, but since we've only not once, I suspect we will. I would hope to see as many of you as possible back. This is a very important topic that we're discussing in this next chapter. So I thank you all very much for your time and hope that perhaps on the 13th of May, we can all get together again.
I have a question. This is Bernice.
Yes.
I was wondering if it might be possible, I don't know if this is accurate, that we could replace the two people that have resigned from the committee, or have, we've had several people that have been on these Zoom meetings that have seen a lot of the presentations.
Right.
Would it be possible to have alternates so that we don't have a problem with a quorum? That we could
That's a good question. We'll have to explore that a little further with the county supervisors that actually invite folks to be on the committee.
Right. But if we could have some alternates too, if people couldn't make the meetings, maybe the other people could make the quorum.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bernice.
Thanks.
I appreciate that. And Melissa, it looks like there might be another hand or two up. Am I legally allowed to take public comment at this point?
If it's just informational, Rob, I think we can ask for informational questions. I don't see the hands up, but I guess you are.
Maybe I was seeing things. Everybody's pretty small right now on my screen. So yeah, looks like Karen had a thought there.
Yes, thank you. I was wanting to ask, because you mentioned website and another person's website. Is there a phone number of someone I could call so I could find out how I could obtain a copy of the docs and also the websites that you have mentioned?
Yes, this is Melissa. My number is 928-679-8868.
Thank you very much.
All right. So any other final thoughts anyone would like to share this evening? Seeing none, I will apologize one more time and then wish everyone a great evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank
Good night,
you,
everyone. Thank you.
Rob and Melissa.
Thanks, Rob, and everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, Melissa?
Kimberly, I think she's still here.
Oh,
so
hi, I'm here. Yes. Sorry, I was muted. Was there a question?
Kimberly someone. Oh. Said, hey, Melissa, but then disappeared.
Okay. All right, Rob, I'm going to stop recording.
Good thought.